guys, how's it going? Today we have a mixed bag of projects to work on, just some random things that I need to get done, like planting garlic. Did anybody else forget to plant their garlic earlier when you're supposed to plant garlic? I thought about it a couple of times, but you guys know what our fall has been like with the dream stream and then the big flower garden project with the boxwoods and trees and just planting in general. We've had a lot going on. So that project just kind of went by the wayside, but it's totally fine to still get your garlic in the ground now. And I'll go over all those details when we get over there. I also have this Lemon Beauty Lonicera, which is a type of box honeysuckle. We've had these as trained as topiaries for the past couple of seasons. We're gonna move those up to the front sun porch. And then what else do we need? Oh, I want to get a lit tree put in the front sun porch as well. So it was the winter of, I think, 2021 that I took these box honeysuckle, which were in these little 4-inch containers, and they were just wild. I put them in these pots and decided to try to see what they would be like as topiary. They've been a little bit of a beast to keep like in topiary shape because they do grow quite quickly, but they're doing it okay, and I just don't want them to be out here. They're a zone 7 through 9, so they're hardy to 0 degrees. But last year we got down to -6, and I don't know what this winter is gonna be like, but I thought, I don't really know if I wanna put them in a heated greenhouse. I kinda want them to have that cold period. So I think the front sun porch will be perfect because it does warm up in there on sunny days. It is kind of a drizzly day today, and it does take the edge off. It's not a heated space up there, but it's just enough protection where I think these will be happy. So I need to round up, it looks like 8 saucers. We can get both the saucers and the lit tree down from the loft before we head up there. Okay, thinking saucers like this size right here. I'm not sure that all of these have been treated with the sealer. This one has. See the shininess right there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa. Just go ahead and bring that other one too. A whole bunch right here too. Boy, I need to do some cleaning. Whoa. There we go. One's a little bit bigger, but that'll do. Actually, there. These are going to be mostly sitting on a concrete bench, not on the wood floor. So having unsealed terracotta saucers should be all right. Okay, we're gonna thread the needle. The truck is parked right here because can you see the blue lift? Working on Christmas lights over there. It's gonna be quite the light show this year, I think. Okay, I do know that I am going to need at least maybe a couple of these. These trees right here, which look like they could use a little bit of I'll use the blower. Hopefully most of the dust will come off of them. I can hold on to it if you want me to.
Oh, I have like no pressure. It's building. To let down.
Way better. Yep. Thank you. Whew. Lemon coral still holding up. It's seen 23 degrees. Beautiful. Look at this, still looking beautiful in November. Love it. It's too tall. Let's check this one. Maybe. Oh, it fits. Yes. It's too tall. Anybody want to hand me that extension cord out there? Oh, it worked. Nothing like forcing it, huh? So our front porch up here has two parts, the inside part and the outside part. I initially thought about putting those lit trees on the inside, but I don't know. I kind of love the lamp that's in there, and it just produces a really soft glow at night. So I thought maybe we'll turn the carriage light off up here and just let those trees shine over here in the corner. I did have to scoot the chairs a little bit, but to be honest, nobody ever sits in these, just the cats. So I'm not gonna get too close to the cushions because the cushions are super gross. Anyway, cats can have those chairs, and for now, the trees I think will look super pretty for Christmas time. Oh, speak of the devil. Douglas, kitty, 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 kitty. They don't usually get to go in there, so he's probably pretty curious. What are you doing, kitty? Okay, we have not been up here for quite a long time. I did have a chaise lounge in this room for a while, and it just took up so much space, and it was incredibly uncomfortable. So while it looked really pretty in here, I just felt like, you know what, we'd make much better use of the space if we had two individual chairs in here so that more than one person could sit, and it has been a much better configuration. But to be quite honest, I started moving plants out of here and not keeping plants in here because, especially during the summer, it bakes in this room. This is the south side of our house, and even though we have a locust tree up here that does produce some shade, it still gets really, really hot, and it was hard to keep plants nice in here. And it's sort of off the beaten path, if that makes sense. Like, it's not a place that we come a lot to water, hence the fake boxwoods in the pots up here. Those have been so nice. I need to take after them with the air compressor and get some dust off of them, but they have been really nice to have up here. But I've always loved this room. I love how it feels. I love the way it looks, especially when there's some plants in here. So I think these Lonicera are going to be a really good option because they are fairly low maintenance, and they'll still get the cold they need. If we turn left here, you can see I've got a couple here on this concrete pillar bench sort of situation. These did not come together. I ordered the pillars separately from the top. I think what happened is these actually belonged to a table and the pillars were broken or something. I can't remember how I acquired that menagerie. Douglas, do you love it in here? Are you going to get a bunch of dark colored hair on the cushions? And one of you guys knitted this blanket for us. We love it. It's super soft. I don't know though, seeing some plants back up in here kind of makes me feel inspired. And maybe we'll do a rework of this space and kind of, I don't know, just make it really, really fun and beautiful. I need to clean in here really bad, but that's not on the list for today. And that's the other thing about this space. So this side of the house was built in 1919. So it's over 100 years old, and we have original windows in here. And every time the wind blows, you should see the dust that accumulates in here. And there's always bugs in here, and it's a tough one to keep clean. And people don't really want to sit in areas that are feel like they should be clean because it's sort of inside, but it's not really. It's sort of still an outside space at the same time. It's one of those odd areas. I don't know, but I am loving it right now. And maybe we'll come in with some wreaths. That might be a fun Christmassy touch. I've done it before where I've hung wreaths in every single one of these windows, at least these front four. May have to do that when I get to those tubs. I'm trying really hard this year to go through all of my decorating tubs. I already have created a pile to donate, and it's perfect because I feel like we're early enough to where if we donate it now, people might actually be able to get their hands on it and use it in time for Christmas. Anyway, oh yeah, I've got hooks right here as well on the outside. Yeah, and these chairs out here, not ideally placed. In fact, it's pretty congested up here. I usually don't like that. But for winter, I think it'll work. And maybe we'll come out here later and show you what these lights look like. And that's the thing too, when you look at things at night, when they're a lit decoration, sometimes you want to adjust the placement a little bit. I mean, it might be that we get rid of or store one of the chairs entirely so that there's more space up there. I don't know, but I'm really happy with this right here. It kind of makes me feel like, oh, should we go to the high tunnel, look for a few evergreens that we can just pop down in prettier pots, not actually pot them, but just put them in to look pretty for the winter, because they would be protected like they would be in the high tunnel, and they'd bring some interest to that space. I don't know, we might do that too, but I gotta get the garlic in. So we need to go gather everything we need to plant our garlic. Fertilizer, our seed garlic, we're just taking from the garlic we harvested this past summer, and kneeling pad and a hand tool of some kind. We'll be right back in there in a second. You know what, real quick, I'll give you a peek at the house that they're building. I've got a spot for one more North Pole arb. So right through here, you can see this lot that has been empty since we moved in. They've just started construction not long ago. They're putting that up really fast. The nice thing about this one is it's set pretty far back from the fence. So, I mean, maybe we'll get somebody who wants to plant a tree right in here. But I am gonna move this pot and we're gonna plant another North Pole because I feel like it's kind of a large gap that I want to have filled. There always seems to be a lot of activity around this area, either from us or from somebody else. Okay, we need biotone, kneeling pad. Okay, maybe we'll go with this. A little peppermint tea. Okay, here in the raised bed garden, this is where the garlic is gonna go. Just one 3x6 bed this year. We usually grow quite a lot of garlic. I think this last year we did, I can't remember how many heads, but it was 2 3x6 foot beds and 2 3x4 foot beds. We do go through a lot of garlic, not quite that much though. When I grow that much, it gives us the ability to give some away. But this year, since we're changing the cut flower garden to a formal flower garden and doing things a little bit differently, I do anticipate growing some stuff out there. I'm just not sure what yet. So I want to not fill up all of these beds full of just a single crop, so that we have the ability to pop some onions in here or potatoes if we decide to grow those on a smaller scale. So that's kind of the plan. But you can see that we've already got our drip tape in here. This is what happens to it. We may have to swap it next spring. The hard water just plugs up our stuff. Hey, if you're going to be out here, you cannot swipe at me. That is a non-negotiable, Douglas. Where's Russell? He was in here too. Hey, Russell. Hi, kitty. So we usually harvest garlic right around 4th of July, and then we typically replant it sometime beginning of October. But here we are mid-November. The weather has been amenable, so thankfully the soil is not frozen. We can still get it in the ground. The difference will be we probably won't see any growth up above the ground. Typically when we plant it earlier, we do see some green growth come up, and then it chills through the winter, and then it picks up and starts growing again in the spring. So this time we'll probably just have our cloves underneath the soil. They'll still be working on producing roots, and there'll still be some activity. It'll just be quite a lot slower because it doesn't have the heat to get going. But I just want to get it in there. And they are heavy feeders. Anything in the allium family, garlic, onions. So that's why, well, one of the reasons why we like to add in our biotone starter fertilizer at the beginning of each crop, especially this one. So I think I'm just going to add it to the top before I even make my trenches. And I'm going to do 4 rows of garlic in here, and we want our trenches to be at about 2 inches deep. So I'm just going to use this trowel to make myself some trenches. Probably a better tool for this, but doesn't matter. All right, I'm just going to do 2 trenches at a time. That way I can backfill these and then do the other 2. I think that'll be a lot easier. Okay, so this is what we're going to plant from. This is what we harvested this past year, and I picked out nice, big-looking heads here. This is a variety called Daganski, which is a hardneck variety. And if you take a look at it here, you can see that hard central stem. And that hard central stem is one of the differences between hardneck and softneck garlic. So hardneck create that hard stem in the central where the cloves form up around it. And that stem will want to form a scape at the top, which you can harvest the scapes. Maybe we can pop a picture on the screen. You can make like scape pesto and we can saute them and all kinds of stuff. I don't typically like to do that. Usually what I'll do before I even let that scape form up is I pop it off so that the plant is, or the roots rather, are pushing energy into the head of garlic rather than to the scape. Hardneck varieties typically have big flavor. They're not as mild as softneck, but they do not store as long as softneck does. So usually we can get upwards of like 8, maybe 9 months if we're lucky out of the hardneck varieties. I can smell it right now. It smells amazing. And softneck varieties are the type you would want to plant if you want to braid them. Hardneck, you have a real hard time doing that because of that hard stem. Okay, so here's what we do. I'm going to remove this outer covering so I can get at the cloves. I want to be careful not to remove a lot of it though. Like with the stuff that's around the individual cloves, we want that to remain intact. But if you look there, you can see the cloves formed up around that stem. Okay, so we're gonna break apart all these cloves so that they're individuals. Trying to keep that skin on them. Oh boy, look at that nice big clove. Usually I opt for planting the larger cloves as opposed to the smaller ones. But each one of these will turn into a head of garlic. So we plant them with the kind of flatter side down, pointy side up, about 2 inches or so deep and about 4 inches apart. It really is an easy process. So we're gonna get these all planted in the bed, cover them over with soil, and then I will probably go grab a bag or 2 of land and sea compost to top dress the whole thing because that will add even more nutrients. Oh yeah, that was plenty. Oh, but adding all of these rich goodies to the soil, they'll have a chance this winter with the winter moisture just to kind of work their way down to those garlic cloves. It's gonna be good. And there we have it all done. I always love that when I know that a fresh crop is tucked away for the winter and we just get to watch it come up in the spring. And the only additional thing we'll have to do here is test the water system to make sure it works, but we have to do that in every raised bed every single spring. And then we'll need to fertilize along the way because they are such heavy feeders. We'll do an application probably like March-ish. And then you could do one once a month until you harvest and you'll get nicer, bigger heads for it. Oh, I cannot believe this season is coming to an end. It is true that time just seems like it keeps flying faster and faster every year. It's crazy. But let's take a look through the rest of this stuff in here quick. So in this raised bed, nothing. We had our acorn squash in here. And then we've got winter gem boxwoods. There's 4 of them that flank the pathway on both ends. We have some peas This is a crop we planted like beginning of August, and you can see it really didn't come to much. We have harvested a few handfuls of peas, which is fun, and there's a couple in here I noticed. I'm gonna take these into Samantha. She loves peas. Look at this, sweet little bloom. Then of course we've got our garlic. We have some celery here, which I actually have been harvesting from. Usually it turns kind of bitter when it hits the real hot, but it's still really good and the leaves are really good. So I'm just gonna keep it up. Of course I don't use stuff like this, but all this fresh stuff underneath is awesome and it smells so good. Like just sitting here, I can smell that celery smell. We've got some beans we need to pull. They're not looking too hot. We have our carrots right here, which I actually harvested one while we were planting garlic so I could have a little snack. I was feeling hungry. I think I forgot lunch today. Do you ever do that? You're just out doing stuff and it gets too late in the afternoon to where you think like, I don't want to eat a full lunch because I have dinner planned. I have meat marinating in there. We're doing carne asada tonight. But yeah, carrots kind of hold me over until then. And these carrots and those carrots, that was our early spring crop. This was a later crop we planted. We will continue to harvest throughout the winter months, even from underneath snow. So those will stay. We have our bachelor's buttons, which I planted in here last year, and they seeded themselves, came up beautifully in the spring. We pulled out the spring crop and then they came up again. So I'm just gonna let this bed be bachelor buttons, I think, because they are so pretty. I just have enjoyed them so much. There's a couple of onions I missed. I just noticed that today. So I'll get these taken inside. Little baby one. We'll use these for dinner tonight. And then these beds, they had zinnias and basil. That one had zinnias, so cleared out. We had, or have rather, spinach in here, which we're just now starting to harvest and give to the chickens. So we'll gradually work our way through that, but I want to give them fresh stuff for as long as I can. There's our carrots, and then this bed is empty, and this bed is empty, but we do have some nice blueberry plants over here. Look at the fall color on these. Aren't these just gorgeous? I think they're beautiful. And you guys, I think that is going to do it for today's projects. I wanted to get out here in between rainstorms. I think we're expecting more rain. In fact, that's why I didn't water the garlic in, because we have more rain coming today, and we've got, I think, 3 more days of rain on the forecast. So we're just going to try to get projects done in between rain, which is such a lovely thing. I love it. But we'll come back out and take a look at those lights on the front porch later tonight. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Are those peas?
Yes, they are.
Peas.
Peas.
You
Yum.
love those. She's got bubble gum in right now.
Oh, she does. Peas and bubble gum don't really go together. You can hang on to them until you're done with your bubble gum, babe. Okay? Yeah, when we go inside. Perfect. And here are the trees at night. They look really pretty. I turned off the carriage light so that would be the only thing illuminating the front porch. And then, of course, the lamp in the sun porch looking beautiful. Oh, the whole thing. Loving it so much.